Hello, Georgetta Gankars here. I know some students had questions about painting plein air, how to use start, how do you paint outdoors. I encourage students, if they're painting with acrylics, to definitely have a stay wet palette. You can make your own, and I did another video on that, but it's basically when I paint outside, you can carry a light towel and just kind of put it underneath of your parchment paper if you have, and put that inside of, you can use a microwavable container, a plastic container with the top. Therefore, you can just keep the towel wet and close the lid on top of the parchment paper. And of course, your paints would sit on top of the parchment paper. You can also use a stay wet palette, or you can use extenders in your acrylic paints to keep them wet for a longer amount of time, especially when you're painting in dry conditions. The paints dry faster. If you're using oils, you don't have that trouble, or watercolors. And I just want to show you some of the materials that I have. So this is my easel here. I do have a French easel. I have about 8 easels, but this one is really good. It's very lightweight and it kind of folds up. It weighs less than 2 pounds. So I encourage you, when you go on location, the last thing you want to be doing is carrying something that's very heavy. So you want to carry something that's very light. I have, comfortable clothes that I wear all the time. If the weather changes, I have a hat. Today it got much colder, so I had to put on my coat. I have a rain poncho in case it rains, and an umbrella. And I have my knapsack here, and it kind of fits everything that I need because I have my paints and I put them in a light plastic container. This holds about 20 paints, and they're, some tubes are a little bit smaller depending on the color, and I have no larger than usually these kind of like 2-ounce tubes. Those are the largest I bring on location. I also have my brushes, and I have them here when I clean them in a bag. It's really easy so they can breathe, and it's a bag long enough to where I can close it up also so it doesn't ruin the top part of the brushes. You can get like a bamboo mat, like a placemat, and just kind of put your brushes inside of there and roll it up with a rubber band if you want, or you can get a proper brush holder for your paints. Again, we talked about the palette there. And again, you can do it a couple of ways. You can just have your wax paper taped to cardboard, which I can fold up, which is really light. You can have your stay wet palette that I talked about of how to make with the towel underneath and the parchment paper on top. There's many variations to how much you want to carry and what feels comfortable for you. And it's going to be different for each painter. Sometimes, I know students paint and they don't have the issues of the paint drying, but if you do, you might want to try to have a stay wet palette. And I'll do another video. I've done another video on the stay wet palette, but I'll go into detail on that later. The other thing that you want to have is you want to have jars for your water. So I usually buy water wherever I am. You can carry bottled water if you want, and I usually have 2 jars, one for light and dark colors. I can close the jar, and then I never leave the water, in other words, in the location where I am, because it's dirty. So I want to take it back, and dispose of it in the studio where I'm not destroying the beautiful, scenery around me, okay? So it's very important that you do bring a plastic bag to put all of your paint garbage inside, as far as your dirty, cleaning off your dirty brushes, your rags that you're going to be using. Usually I use paper towels, and have that in a bag where you can kind of remove it from the area and dispose of it properly. That's pretty much it. As long as you have, like I told you, I have my easel. It's an aluminum easel. It weighs less than 2 pounds. The French easel works well, but sometimes they're between 10 and 14 pounds. And if I'm walking up the side of a mountain, it's a little bit difficult for me to carry, so I enjoy the more aluminum easels. They fold easy, and they go into a very small carrying case, and this is how large my carrying case is. The whole easel folds up into that, so it's wonderful. And again, everything I'm carrying is less than 7 pounds. So I hope to see you on location next time. Maybe you'll be joining me in a class, or I might just see your videos. And if you do painting on location, or if you're a beginner, don't be afraid. Just try it. It's really fun. And I encourage you to go when the sun is the brightest in the beginning, because if you go too early in the morning or too late at night, the weather changes. And what happens is your light and your shadows are going to drastically change. So go when the light is kind of constant, and then as you get a little bit better, challenge yourself. Go at different times of the day when the light is going to change, because it will make you think about, okay, I have to put the shadow in here now. I have to record this. And always go with your sketchbook, always go with your phone or your camera to take pictures, and don't forget about documenting your color and swatches. So when you come back to the studio, you'll know all the colors that you need to use, even if you did kind of, mass and block out the colors. So I hope to see you on location soon. Ciao.